So the theme being prayer. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I will do a song in a minute, and then I'm going to do a song at the end. And what I did is, how I thought I'd proceed with what I would share with you today is that I've written down 24 points of reference. And I'm just going to name the reference and then extrapolate on it a little bit. And completely open to any feedback you might want to contribute to that point. Would be more than welcome. And I'm also going to share a bunch of prayers throughout this. And I'm going to start off with a prayer that invokes the 7 directions. And we have so many wonderful traditions in which prayer is expressed. And because right now I'm standing here going, okay, where's east?
North, south, west to the east.
All right, good. All right, now that I'm geographically oriented. So to the east, to the new day, to the light within and without. To the golden eagle, to illumination, east, the gate of morning, that you, for the moving airs, for the awakening of life, may my eyes lift to see the freedom of the birds, and may my thoughts be an awareness of the gifts of each moment. And to the east, I call for your spirit and your power to come in. And to the south, to trust and innocence, to the little mouse, to the white-tailed deer, to the good road home. South, sacred fire of creativity, I seek your vitality and healthy alliance. Thank you for the teachings of relationship, for music, dance, art, and those things that carry joy and communion. I pray that my life may unfold in harmony with my kin in all realms. To the south, I call for your power and spirit to come in. And to the west, to the dark waters of looking within, to black bear, brown bear, to raven, to the medicine path, west, power of places between the worlds. I turn to you seeking passage into the depths of knowing and unknowing. Thank you for the lightning and the cleansing rain, for those things that teach compassion and nourish understanding. Thank you, Panther, for the medicine of solitude and the silent stalking for truth. To the west, I call for your power and spirit to come in. And to the north, home of the old ones and those gone by, to the wisdom place, place of white buffalo and snow leopard, moose and beaver, north, spirit's mountaintop. I turn to you for wisdom, for the place free of shadow. I seek perspective and a path of service. Thank you for the gifts of lodge and sustenance. I pray to live upon this gracious earth with remembrance of gratitude and with respect for my elders in all realms. To the north, I call forth your power and spirit to come in. And to Mother Earth, it's not dirt, but we'll just, to Mother Earth, enfolding all beings with the beauty of compassion, nurturance, creativity, and peace. Hear my prayer for the two-leggeds and the four-leggeds, for those who fly and crawl, and swim and walk and run, and for all children of the mother. And to Father Sky, encircling all beings with the light of protection, warmth, clarity, and vision. Hear my prayer and grant me the courage to bring the radiance of my true self out into the world, and the humility and self-esteem to foster that radiance in everyone I meet. To that place within my being where the 6 directions meet, may I live today from this center of wholeness and balance. And that was written and received by a Seneca elder, grandmother Twyla Nitsch. So I have a song here, which some of you may have heard before. And put up your hands if you heard of this prayer before. It's the prayer of St. Francis. Ah, great. I used to sing. I was a youth director when I was just coming out of high school in the United Church. And every Friday night we got together and I would start the meeting with this song. And I actually just last week met with a woman who attended those meetings way back then. And she shared a picture with me of what I looked like then. I had a lot more hair up here. Make me a channel of your peace, where there is hatred, let me bring your love, and where there's injury, your pardon, Lord, and where there's doubt, true faith in you. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul, and make me a channel of your peace, where there is despair in life, let me bring hope, where there's darkness, only light, and where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be titled my talk today, Prayer as an Act of Gratitude. And so I've been doing a lot of reflecting on that. And what was coming to me is all these points that I wrote down to share with you. We are individualized expressions of the divine, of the Creator, of God. And as such, every thought, every word, and every action is a prayer. And every time we express those various things, words, thoughts, actions, we are creating a reality. We are manifesting the world that we see and that we experience. And so, if we could begin to relate to a life of prayer as a constant state of consciousness, as a deep meditation on each moment, and how there are many laws in the universe that actually support this. And I'm going to just go through some of these points, and as I say, if any of these things make you want to, inspire you to want to share something, I'd love to hear what you would have to say. So first I'm going to say that prayer as an expression of creativity, which is what I was just kind of referring to. Everything that's already gone on in this service this morning has been an expression of creative force. Brings us into full presence as a creative being. And as a collective convergence of prayer in the hearts and words of everything that everyone is participating in. So it's good to know, it's good to remember that I'm essentially the most fundamentally creative being. And in relationship to that, and what I was just saying, prayer is a conversation with life. So it's going on all the time. We all know that our brains don't literally shut off. And they've always got a comment, they've always got a point of view. And the thing about the brain is that that's its function. Its function is to categorize, to compare, to make judgment, to ascertain the one thing against another. And it will do that incessantly. In fact, I would say that the mind can also be pretty much a trickster. And the only way that we get to bypass the trickster is by coming here, to the heart. Because the language of the heart is not logical. The language of the heart is direct. So there's no distance I have to travel. The mind has to travel somewhere. It has to travel between this and that. It's always constantly related to polarity. But the heart is always connected to unity. To unity. To the one heart of existence. And the language of the heart is intuition. It's our ability to feel into the truth of things. And we know today, with all that's going on in the world, our minds are being tricked all the time. And we're being pulled into places in which to only be in our minds. And the ability to truly tap into the heart is something that's actually causing many people to doubt the validity of the wisdom of the heart, of the validity of intuitive knowing. And the thing about intuitive knowing is that it's not scientifically necessarily provable. We all have had those moments in our life when we know something, but I just can't explain it. I just can't prove what I know. But deep in the cells of my body and my being, I am totally, deeply connected to a knowing, and that it often, especially in unexpected moments, is actually guiding my actions. We often follow an intuitive impulse in order to get somewhere in our life. And as we do that, we also don't necessarily know what all the steps are going to be to get us where we are striving to go. Which then asks us again to trust the heart and to trust our intuition. And so, my other point here is prayer is never in the future. Prayer is fundamentally always in this present moment. And as a result of that, it requires that I surrender to this moment. And I don't try to control things too much. I don't try to move according to when I feel I've got a guarantee about what I'm moving towards. And myself as a writer, and I pretty much write a message every day that is literally channeled through me. And this really started to take off when I stopped trying to figure out what I was going to write. And often Spirit would just simply say, start with this word. And if I sat there and thought about the word, my mind would immediately be going, I'm going to compare it to this, I'm going to compare it to that. And the next thing you know, I was inundated with so much cross-comparison that I didn't know what the heck to write. And then Spirit would come in and say, just write the word down on the piece of paper. And as soon as I wrote the word down on the piece of paper, all of a sudden, all this stuff started to come through. And I simply had to surrender to the process of one word after another word, which led to the next word, which then expanded my intuitive vision of what was coming through. And as a result, something would emerge that after it was all done, I'd go back and read it and say, who the heck wrote that? And I became a student of my own writing. I began to learn from myself and something greater than myself. Any of you in here have ever experienced that kind of thing? I know that Neil over here has just finished a book, and exciting, very much connected to the heart. And I'm sure your process in doing that meant that you had to be surrendering a lot in doing your writing.
100%.
Yeah. The other thing about prayer, we tend to think of prayer, in my life, I've tended to always think of prayer as something I'm praying for. And so there would be this sort of gap in which the thing I'm praying for is somewhere in the future. And I'm hoping that this result is going to come. But the heart of prayer is actually infused with gratitude and thankfulness. So when I express a prayer, when I'm stating a prayer, in that moment, I'm actually acknowledging that this prayer has already been taken care of. And I'm in this moment with gratitude and thankfulness. And often in prayers, at the end of the prayer, we say thank you. So in that, prayer moves between two things. It moves between knowing and mystery. So when I express a prayer of intention, there is a deep knowing within myself about that intention, about what I intend to bring, what I intend to create. And within that knowing, I'm also stepping into an infinite mystery. And so in a sense, I have some measure of control, you could say, and I have a whole bunch of mystery that's saying, let go of the control. And I do the dance, which is the law of polarity. I'm finding balance between those two things. And as a result, prayer requires unconditional acceptance. Because infused in a prayer, especially if we're praying for someone else, say someone is ill, and we're lifting prayers to bring them comfort, that they will heal, that they will be taken care of. And the mystery in that, we know that we want that to be our expression of love towards that person. And the mystery within that expression of love is that I don't know what is the highest good for that person. And so even in illness, even in death, there can be a process of one day of denying death. And so we don't embrace death as a part of life. And just like in the song, the prayer of St. Francis, that it's only that there's, in my death there is a rebirth. And that is taking place all the time as well. We know that every cell in our bodies are completely changed every 7 years. So we are in a constant conversation with disillusion and resolution. The emergence of life and the falling away of life. The experience of beauty and then the contrast of things that makes life appear not so beautiful. Which then expands me into appreciating beauty again.